Nick's Rambles 001. It's October 4th today. Big old 10-4. And I hope you're all having a delightful, fantastic day thus far. I hope whatever day you're watching this on ends up being blessed. Whatever. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. What exactly are you doing, sir? Are you okay with hazards? You're acting weird, my friend. You're acting weird. Hope your day is blessed. Hope your actions and everything produce good fruits, good energies, good vibes. And I hope the development and growths that are happening to you through this fall are being delivered in gentle, calm, and beautiful ways. I'm trying to think what subjects and what topics I want to get into here, and I had stuck on traditions. Essentially, I want to do this big old wrap up where I talked a little bit about energy, I talked a little bit about ritual, and getting into traditions then gives me an opportunity to talk into change. Because I'm looking at the fall here, and I'm smelling the fall here, and it's a very moist fall here in Alberta. I'm not usually one to use the word moist in Alberta, because it's not. I lived in Abbotsford. I know what it's like to be close to the ocean, not on the ocean. On the ocean's insane, man. My skin, woo! I feel great, honestly. And there's inklings of that out here in Alberta this year. There has been the last few years. Now, I've known Alberta for a really, really long time. Always as a sightseer, though. Family lives down here, so we visit down here on a fairly frequent basis. It's one of the reasons why it's become the sand trap for me that it is. Alberta already knows my family energy. It knows exactly how to catch me. But it's changing. And it's moist and damp and all these things that I've never thought this province would be. And the transformation, the metamorphosis in the whole world as it is, that's an energy pattern. That's a formation that is well and worth a little bit of scrutiny. It's always weird when the patterns change. Tradition and following tradition allows us to keep to a certain consistency, a certain repetition, as it were, the things that we are experiencing and the things that we are going through. If, say, for example, it is tradition that a boy go out and learn to slay a wolf at a young age, you can probably breed a fairly decent nation of warriors, fighters out of this. If the tradition is more too that every child is instructed to do handprints with paint, art, expression of the self, impressions of the self, this becomes then a consistent theme that these people understand. And it goes across any category. It's like geese. Goes across any level, really. Business families stay in business families, and this hails back to the previous generational ages where my last name would have made me a stonecutter. I would have done what my dad did, and my dad was doing what his dad did. There's always been a continuation process going on there. And initially it was the species learning how to simply be productive. And we've definitely achieved that. We've definitely achieved productivity. Unquenchable, thirsty productivity, but it's productivity all the same. As for what comes next, it seems now that we've moved into concepts and formations of identity and purpose, and feels very much around expression. They say Age of Aquarius. And I gotta double check exactly how that rotation fits into it, but there's something akin to it. Now, what comes before Aquarius? Capricorn. And what is Capricorn concerned with? Its placement, its purpose, its position within the nation and within existence. It is irrevocably concerned with the structure of things. And so, if we're coming into the Age of Aquarius, and I'm presuming we're on the same rotational cycle and coming out of Capricorn, if it's backwards, we're coming out of Pisces, that's even worse. Because that means we're coming out of a stupid dream state and a fast encroaching purpose and function. And I'm scared to see the humans go that way with what they've got going on right now. We are learning how to work with tradition in a different way than it used to be. And working around that and evolving with that is going to be a tricky process, really, for most. For many of us, it's a matter of, we just want to be comfortable. We're living in an age where comfort should be inherently available to all. For some reason, it's not. And for some reason, every single one of our little countries is feeding information very specifically to its own nation. It's all about maintaining subscribers and likes. Oh, sorry. I mean advertising revenues. And columns and ads. It's a very, very strange world that we've stumbled into. And now with the invention of things like Bitcoin, a lot of those traditional systems and structures that we used to have, centering around church, shaman, or family elder, a lot of them are thrown away in light of the fact that a concept that had no real substance and value is reigning supreme. I don't like money systems. Money's a fucked up thing. Money's a fucking lie. Money is a brutal and ugly and godforsaken lie. It's a made up concept. It is agreed upon consistency, and collectively the only people that agree are the ones that are playing the game. But everybody is forced to believe that that game is what decides your value. Hate money. Money is a good concept we'll get into someday, I'm sure. The point of the order, though, is that it is Nick Rambles. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll decide later. The change in the province and the change in traditions, it's all part of a bigger process, a bigger transformation. Tradition reinvents itself through the rituals and the activities that we participate in. Like, honestly, if I got up every day and did a little video blog at 5 a.m. and posted it up for 6 a.m. to wake up all you people with, I know there's at least a couple dozen people that would just roll over and turn on their phone for that, and you guys are wonderful people. You guys confuse the living shit out of me, but you guys are wonderful people. And then periodically, over the next 5, 10, 20 years, whatever internet archaeologists are working through, come across it now and again. Words immortalized on digital capture, imprinted in ones and zeros, and articulated in such fashion that they can be re-rendered, reworked, recreated, and utilized in a myriad of different ways. The capacity to create, it's not something that should be ignored. Creation, yeah, let's go with creation. Building things, putting things out there. I've alluded in a lot of ways to my concepts of masculine and feminine, or push and pull, or yin and yang, just in that push and pull. The push energy of life, say, taking this mountain and pushing it so that we can push in and yield from it the gems and the riches. Or pushing into the field so that we can plant seeds, or pushing into the traffic lane so we can make a turn onto the on-ramp. Why wouldn't you just position yourself early, guys? Like, honestly. Oh, wait. That's my pull. And realizing that I pull, I have to make sure I leave room for those that are going to push. But up to a point. There are boundaries. And push doesn't work so well with boundaries. Push is trying to push for a reason. That's right. Pull has to set boundaries at all times, no matter what. And push has to listen to boundaries. Immovable objects and unstoppable forces rarely should collide. The solution is always in. The unstoppable force is always stoppable by itself. It is simply the immovable object's choice to stand there and hold space. Do not interfere. Push and pull, yin and yang, forever in dance. I really, really liked actually how the Chinese framed it in military concepts a lot of the time. Pretty Subaru. Just this nice orange trim. It's really pretty. They'd liken it to troops displaying a certain energy, a certain mindset, a certain force around certain concepts. If you're feigning retreat, ensure that it looks real. A few men throwing down their swords and all running looks absolutely brilliant. All your men throwing down your swords and running looks weird and typically leaves them absolutely useless and just gave your enemy a bunch of swords. There's ways to do everything properly. There's ways to do everything right. At least from their perspective. When I think about push and its necessity in this, it is very much the push that's making the transformation happen. Pushing technology, pushing advancement. Heck, I remember when the really, really young me was pushing individualism to an extreme. And now here I am trying to fix community. That's some bad shit right there. It's guano. The push's function in all of this relates and comes back to certain concepts wherein the push cannot push without pushing through, into, or against something. There has to be some amount of opposition. do this appropriately, one must respect what it is that they're working with. You see this in a lot of hunter cultures where there would be acknowledgments to the animal before it is taken down. I had a teacher once tell me, he looks at every goat and says, "Thank you for feeding my family and friends. I appreciate your sacrifice." Barreled and fired. Please don't bring too much more than you already have. You have so much space in front of you. Okay, well, get over. Stop braking and get over then. There you go. There you go. You're in a 90 zone. Don't go 70. Pro tip, acceleration increases your friction and makes it easier to do most maneuvers. Most accidents occur when changing lanes and slowing down, not speeding up. That stat may have changed actually now. I should just throw that out there like that. That's dangerous. I am not a driving instructor and I do not give driving advice. I just give running commentary my entire life because otherwise I'm stuck with all the thoughts up here. And that's no good. That's no good for anybody. What I really need is co-pilots. Honestly, driving with strangers? Drives with Nick. Nick drives everybody crazy, but have some fun with that. I was rambling on about change. I was rambling on about push. Yes, thank you. Push concepts. Push forces itself into things and into action, into flow to allow a transition and change. It's installing itself sometimes. God, the nerds are going to hate me for this one, but the hard drive being more in that pull dynamic where it's going to take the information and hold on to it and handle it and look after it. But it's the install file that installs itself onto the hard drive. Once it's done with the install file, kind of done with it. But then what's installed will push on from where it's at. When I push on people, that's where most of my masculine still comes out. It's in how I push concepts on people. There's someone that I know that doesn't want me to read them whatsoever, and I've teased and toyed with it a couple times. And I'm not going to say I needed an answer, because I don't have an answer and I don't need the answer. I just needed understanding. And understanding is she has guards up and she has comforts for herself. She doesn't want exposure to certain levels. I don't let my hair be seen, for the most part, by most people. Least of all touched. Really fucking iffy on touching my hair. But this is why I wear head wraps. But there's a select group of people that do get that. And while it might be a very minute ritual for me to create, the tradition of it allows me to recognize who is part of that inner circle tribe and who is not. Meaning no offense to all of you, I love you all dearly, but have you ever seen me with my hair down? So I can understand why, for them, there's that barrier, that's a wall that do not read. Now, my confrontation is this. Everybody's reading everybody all the time. Everybody is reading everybody all the time. One last time, everybody is reading everybody else all the goddamn time. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not. We are all actively scanning, judging, measuring. And this is where our biases, our demons, our spirits, and everything else start to interfere with our own gut instincts and our own formulation of thought process. This is why having a good and healthy populace, a good and healthy mindset, and good and healthy culture allows people then to show good and healthy energy to one another in all their interactions, especially those interactions that we're not actually talking about. When when you throw your thoughts around at people, it leaves an impact, people. Concepts I'll play with on that one later. So I get it. I can't force my perspective upon her. I'm going to take away what I can, and she's going to make sure that what I take away is as little as possible so that she knows the truth and nobody else does. And the confrontation is in that I'm doing the exact same thing. It's a challenge, maybe. It's a ego trap for sure. But the best reaction is to simply step back and watch completely. That boundary, that barrier has been established. She is not going to accept that push into him. And you don't force it. You don't fucking force it. On the other side, it would be not just disrespectful, but it would be harmful to myself to push through that as well. Because if I'm not going to respect her laying out that boundary, that means I'm not going to respect somebody else laying out that force against me on my boundary. Someone ripping off my hair, I'm going to turn around and punch him. There should be a better reaction than that. A better control, a better semblance. If she can demonstrate the reaffirming of boundaries and the holding of space with such formidability, then I can learn from that and I can expand from that. I can recognize the energy within that concept and understand the mood and the change in the ambience. And thus, her ritual and my ritual are both kept in their safe being. I continue my general throwing of seeds wherever they may land, and if they land on hard rock where crows come and peck them away, I won't give two shits. Not to say that they are a crow, and not to say that they are something vile or dark, but simply to say that that is not a place to seek. It will curse me forever because I firmly believe that psychology and spirituality need to work in an interlaced nature. But that is not where I'm going to get to explore that discovery. That's okay. My push is not for everyone. My push cannot be for everyone. Pull. Oh, pull. Everybody has gravity. I have yet to meet a person that did not have some degree of gravity. And you have to learn to be weightless to realize the gravity in all things. That's tricky. Now, each person's gravity every person has a little bit of feminine in them. I could go weird and redneck about it and be all, well, we are all born from women, so we all got that little bit of still in us. That's why you respect your mama. Or I could play it more the traditional matriarchal. They fucking ruled the world for so long, so fucking long, and it was great. Honestly, it was. Guys, fuck it up. Maybe a little bit of bias coming out here. Push fucks it up, though. Push fucks it up in all the wrong ways. Because if we all recognized each other's gravities, we'd recognize our boundary points a lot easier and a lot more quickly. And it is within the feminine that boundary is created, that boundary is enforced. Boundary is the most powerful defense barrier, because to violate boundary, you have to violate free will. Don't violate free will, guys. Like, I don't know how much I have to wave the sign, but in every way physically possible, do not violate free will. The less you pull that in a lifetime, the better off you will be. Almost in the office. Half of this is tricky because I'm also just rambling. There's no energy to bounce off and relate to. And on the shorter vid that I did for the test, that wasn't an issue. This one is a little bit more of an issue. Also, this hill looks a lot like fucking Whitehorse. It drives me crazy every fucking year. So, the pole energy exists within every single one of us. We all have a gravity. We all have a means of attracting energy, attracting form, attracting substance, attracting anything that we desire, really. It exists within the free will's expression of itself in the claiming nature, in what we want to take to nurture ourselves, improve ourselves, and or nurture and improve within the world around us. We don't really possess it. We don't really give it up. It just becomes a part of our orbit, a part of our existence, a part of our very nature of presence. To say that the masculine only is forceful is both true and false. Side note here as we, come to a construction section. Careful speed limits. Anyway. If we all have gravity, if we all have that draw and that flow working with us, it stands to reason that we at times will attract. And if we choose, at times, we can push. Now, however you style yourself and however you function yourself, dress in whatever clothes you want. Not to be candid, not to be cruel with it in any way, shape, or form, but dress in the clothes that you want. That's not for me to make any assessment thereof. But if I know that we are all equipped with two tools, then I do imagine that we could all use these two tools appropriately. And share an understanding and comprehension of our use of them. Acknowledging that every person has emotions, or every person has consciousness. It's about realizing the realness of each and every single other person around us. Even if we are deeply frightened of the genuine connection, genuine interaction. Waking Life does a beautiful segment on that. Problem is, more of a Fight Club guy. And I know my single serving moments, my sugar package friends, cream package friends. Doesn't mean I gotta forget them though. You can hoard moments just like you can hoard anything else. the wizard fucking chooses to arrive. Maybe with just a little bit of finesse, I can make this entire situation inverse. Maybe. We'll see. Thanks for sitting with me, though. We'll call that Nick Rambles 001, where we discuss push, pull, a little bit on tradition, change, and my running commentary on the bullshit and meta that is my day-to-day life. Hope you all have a fantastic day, though. Hope you all have a fantastic week. Just remember that today's Pluto direct. No wonder I'm digging deep. I'll have to do another video later for that one, but get there when we get there. No rush. At the end of the day, we're all just living. So you all take care, be safe, be well, and be blessed. And we will all talk again soon.